Welcome to That Sounds Terrific in the 585. Join hosts Nick Koziel and Christine Green as they spotlight the incredible leaders, visionaries, and innovators shaping Rochester and the 585 community. From transformative stories to big ideas, we celebrate the people making our community a better place to live, work, and thrive. So sit back, relax, and listen to what makes the 585 sound terrific.
Hello, welcome to That Sounds Terrific in the 585 with Nick Koziel and Christine Green. Today we have Aubre Fox here. Thank you so much for coming. How are you?
I am so great. Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, this
We're
is
excited
fun.
too.
This is fun. Nick, do you want to start us off or do you want me to get going
Oh
here?
my, we could just start off with the simple basics, right, Aubrey?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What you
sure.
do? Yeah.
Yeah. So I am an interior designer. I've been in the business for 16 years. I run my own business. I have worked in commercial, residential, hospitality, pretty much everything. Right now, I've kind of found myself in the residential market is where kind of I prefer to
hmm
be. I'm originally from the west side of Rochester, and about 8 years ago, I started a professional development community in Rochester for women in business, and have just had a blast creating this community and getting to meet so many fabulous women and people in the Rochester area. And it's just grown and become more than I guess I could even imagine.
That's wonderful. Tell us, what is first tell us the name of your organization and what you guys really like. Tell us about like what's your membership like? How often do you guys meet? That kind of stuff.
So the name of it is called the Next Level Collective.
Mhm.
Next is spelled with no E, so we also refer to it as NXT.
Awesome.
Okay, cool.
And so we started 8 years ago, with a very nominal membership fee, just enough to hold some events. Some friends and I were young professionals in the area and didn't feel like we had a space that we really belonged, felt welcomed, and so we decided we would just create our own.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that. I love when people do that. I don't have a space. I'm going to create one.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we started there, and we stay as true to our roots as we possibly can. Obviously, we grow and adapt with the times and things like that. So when we started, we ran through three different types of events, which still hold true today. So educational, social, and philanthropic. Um, so that kind of gives everybody a place to play, whether you even were a woman in business or you weren't, and you just maybe you needed some friends in the area and you wanted to come out for a happy hour or something like volunteer related.
Now that's really cool. I did not realize that you guys had that. Obviously in the Rochester area, I've heard of NXT, but I didn't realize that you had. I want to talk about all three of those parts, but
Yeah.
tell me more about the philanthropic side of it, because that is more and more important to people these days. And I think some people who aren't always in the volunteer space or who haven't been in that space before of giving or volunteering time or money don't know really where to start. And it sounds like this might be a place to begin.
Yeah, so we have a few events that we kind of pop in and out of. Early on we did a lot with Fairy Godmothers of Rochester.
Okay.
We loved their prom fair, so I mean, at least 10 to 15 of us every year would volunteer and be personal shoppers and help with the day
Oh,
there. So that was always
that's
fun.
cool. That's really cool.
Uh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, tell us a little bit more.
So, we do everything from now annually we do a toy drive for around Christmas time and the holiday.
Sure.
Um, we have been giving to the same charity for the last 8 years, which has been great. Actually, a small community in Williamson, because I know a lot is done locally in
Hmm.
Rochester, like Toys for Tots and all those different things. So we've really found a nice little niche out in Williamson with a woman, and we drop off boxes and boxes of wrapped toys for her every year. So that's one of our favorites there.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
That's
wonderful.
really cool. And that's kind of like what That sounds terrific. Originally, it was built on was, highlighting charity and fundraising and impact to the community. And then we kind of brought Christine on board to concentrate more on local, right? And 585. So,
Sure.
dear to my heart.
Yeah.
So very cool. What other kinds of things do you do? Like, what kinds of events should people like expect, right?
Yeah, so our membership, we have three different levels of membership. So when we started, it was just minimal. We really didn't know what we were doing. We just wanted to get together and learn something. So now we've elevated ourselves to have three different levels of membership. And basically that depends on kind of what you have access to, obviously. And we have our main, middle, and higher tier include a monthly mastermind, a workshop, quarterly Facebook groups, communication within our community, and kind of sharing. And, if when you come up with those questions and you don't know who to ask, you've got a great market research group
Hmm.
right there for you at your fingertips. And if one of us don't know, usually we have a relationship or somebody that does know. So that's been really cool too.
Cool. Is
Wow.
it all like online? I mean, in person, or is there online components? How does that
It's
part
a little bit of
figure?
both. So we are expanding to do more virtual because we want to have a larger reach. So right now, a lot of it is in person. So we just actually had a great workshop last night over at Slate on South.
Hmm.
Um, and we had a speaker there. We had a great amount of women, very conversational of just like last night it was more about raising venture capital, things like that. And
Hmm.
like if that is something some of our business owners should be doing, if maybe they shouldn't be going that route, very candid conversation. So very productive and insightful workshops is really our goal of like you're going to walk away with something tangible in your hand of either something that's going to be your next goal for our next meeting kind of thing. Um, we're all about like action. We don't want to just be
Yeah.
like chatting. We want to move the needle.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah. Very
course.
cool.
So what is your membership like right now? Like how many local people are in your group, and how do you see yourself expanding?
Yeah, so we typically run right about 50 members between all of our levels, which has
Mhm.
been great. Some people are lifers, some people bounce in and out. We love you either way.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's been great. We're trying to decide how we're going to expand. And just kind of feeling out what that looks like. So one of our masterminds, so our highest level is called the icon level. And right now we have women across the state that are joining that I have relationships with or other people I have relationships with. So right now we have like somebody in the Burnt Hills, Saratoga area
Oh,
that
nice.
runs a family business, like a window and door company with her brother. And she's never belonged to any sort of just strictly women's professional group before, or somebody that met on the level that we're meeting with and deep diving into these topics. So that's been really, really exciting to kind of just see how we're able to impact other communities with maybe people who aren't used to having a support system like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so as you were talking, I'm thinking, what kind of businesses and businesswomen are joining? What is your scope? I mean, are you really getting a lot of business owners? Are you getting freelancers? What kind of work are your
Yeah.
members doing out there in the area?
So I think it's really cool. We have a pretty diverse group.
Mhm.
So diverse in a sense of what they're doing and how long they've been doing it.
Sure.
Um, so that's kind of the reason why we have the three different tiers as well. Everybody might be in a different point in their business, like whether they started yesterday or they haven't even started yet and they need some resources.
Sure.
Um, and then we also have women that are freelancers, photographers, copywriters, marketing, um, business coaches. Since I've come from the interior design world, I have a lot of friends that are interior designers. So we've got a
Sure.
lot of interior designers, um, and people that are leading larger teams within other businesses or corporations.
Gotcha.
When did you see, like, obviously when you start something like this, an initiative like this, it's often an uphill kind of battle in trying to figure out, like, how do I make this work? When did you have that sort of turning point where you're like, wow, this is really working and this is really what we want to do to kind of move
Yeah,
forward?
it was it's always been a journey, but so we during the pandemic we kind of dropped all our rules and we did a couple of virtual events and then I was like, everybody's sick of this, right? Um, so we kind of just dropped all the rules for a while and would highlight we have a pretty big social media following, email following, things like that. So we just said if you tag us any woman in business, we will reshare, we will comment like anything because everybody needs a helping hand right now.
Mhm.
So after we got through that, we kind of knew we wanted to restructure and I was at the point where it, as you know, anything you do is that you want to be profitable is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Um, and I run, my own business, and all these women that help me run this business are also running their own businesses. So it was a lot of work, and I was just trying to decide. I'm like, okay, I've always seen this as big, but should I keep going?
Mhm.
And every time I questioned it, I would get a comment, a response, something from one of our members, maybe not even a member, maybe somebody who came to something once and was like, what a special community you have, Aubrey. I've never seen anything like it. It's different than what I've seen before. And then that's just like a, stab right
Yeah.
to the heart. And you're like, okay, keep going.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Those are the best moments. Like, my wife's a teacher. And so,
Mhm.
like, every now and then, and she's like kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
So, every now and then, she's getting like notes from like people that are graduating and stuff like that, where they said, well, you really played an impact in my life, or, parent notes, those types of things are always
Yeah.
just these unexpected treasures that really
Yeah.
like make you keep going. I had somebody actually I just recently reconnected with. I used to do a career support group where kind of similar to what you're doing. I bring in guests and speakers and have them talk about how, to do career transition or pick up a job when you've lost your job and dust yourself off and keep going. And I
Yeah.
had somebody I reconnected with, and she said, Nick, she's like, when you first reached out and said, join my group, I'm like, who is this guy? Why would I want to do this? It's like, it's crazy. He's just coming out of nowhere. What does he want from me? Right. Because like I didn't ask for anything, I didn't have them pay. And she's
Yeah.
like, I'm so glad that I did because, we're friends now. You made meaningful changes in my life. And like that hits home. Right. So that
Yeah.
makes it all worth it. I'm glad that you're having, those moments.
Yeah.
Um, Also, I just thought it was really funny when you first said when the pandemic hit, we just threw all the rules out of the rule book, and I'm like thinking, okay, what did she do? And she's like, everyone was sick of meeting virtually. I'm like, oh, she met in person, and she's like, no masks, and I'm like, like she's
Super
one of
shorter
one of
events
those
at NXT.
people. Like,
No,
no,
no, he's
no,
not
I'm
doing
just
that at
teasing.
all.
No, but that's great.
Yeah.
It's really cool that you have this going on.
I
Yeah.
have a question.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about your company, but
Mhm.
before then, I want to talk a little bit about your bridge between your company and NXT. So obviously Next Level has changed you in the sense that you've grown this community and you're helping women do all these things on a very personal level. When you look back at Next Level, how has it changed you? Not just as a business person, but as like a person, like as a woman in this community.
Ooh, that's a good one, Christine.
Yeah, she's got the great
All
questions.
right.
I come up with these. This is
Yeah,
why
that's why
this is
she
what
gets
I
paid
have.
more than I do.
Yeah. I,
Um,
no, he does more work, I guess. I just show up with the questions.
Great question. So how has it impacted me kind of personally? So I think it has also encouraged me to consistently stay involved in the community.
Mhm.
We get a lot of feedback from women that have come to our events that literally say they're scared to get out of the car to come in.
Mm.
Oh,
And so my thing that I've always kind of preached in a sense of like, you don't have to be a master networker. Come to our event. I'm out networking my little booty off all the time. I will do some of the networking and connecting for you, as are other people in our community. So if you're more timid, just come to one of our events, because all the women in our community know someone else that could be helpful to you. So it's really gotten me to push outside. I've always been kind of like an outgoing person, but sometimes I'm just like, well, I got to go make this connection. I guess this is what we got to do today.
Yeah.
And then from like a very personal standpoint, I have a 3-year-old, and I felt very blessed. I had a very difficult time postpartum. My husband was traveling for work. I was home a lot by myself with a newborn baby and had a lot of health complications. And I will say that the community that I had already built and formed, we have a lot of women that are also in the mom baby space. And the amount of women that were able to help me through that difficult time was just incredible. If I did nothing else besides like make those connections so that I could, help feel supported during what was a very difficult time. That's also become a little bit more of my mission. Whenever I see somebody that's like having a baby, I'm like, okay, you got a team? You got a team to help get you through this?
Takes a village.
It does.
It really does.
That is so important. And just as a kind of a side note, like when I had my daughter, I was very young. Well, not super young, but like among my peers, I was young. And nobody else had kids. Not like we had like one friend who had kids. And so a lot of people were great and they came and they visited, but like I think we had one friend who thought to bring a casserole, and another friend who brought some takeout, and they would come and play with the baby and leave. And then when I had my son, I was living here in Rochester. So that's my grad school there. They don't have, but then when I was living in Rochester and I had a solid community with the mom's club I was in, I had a freezer full. I had people coming over like, we'll take your daughter. I'll drive you to the doctor. Like it makes a huge difference. And I just wish all new parents and people giving birth had something like that. So it's interesting that you started this as like a business networking, but it's become like, we use the word community, but it's true. It's become this little space where you guys can share more than that. So congratulations on that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. It's so interesting too, because I love how some people find us because like it's the most random things, but sometimes people move here and they'll like find one of our events on Eventbrite, or they'll find something on Facebook, or they'll come to our holiday party. And those women that have no friends, right, some of them have been my friends for 6 years, So it's like, even though we all have like these common goals and are very much, about community over competition, supporting one another. And it's really crazy because all of a sudden you'll meet somebody, you're like, oh, how do you know so-and-so? And I was like, oh, we met on the internet. And then she came to an event. It was great.
Well, this seems like to be a really good point also to like, so you just hit like something on the head, right? How do we get in contact with you, right? So we'll put it in the show notes for sure, but why don't you tell everybody like the best way to kind of get involved?
Yeah. So as far as our social media following, we are bread and butter mostly on Instagram. We are on LinkedIn and Facebook. Our website is a great resource for all the details, what we have going on, all of our events, everything like that. But you can mostly find us on Instagram because that's where I prefer to live right now.
Yeah. No, that's great. What's the website?
It's thenextlevelcollective.com.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then it's next level, right? Next_level for Instagram.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Very cool.
So let's rewind in your life. I want to know, how did you get into interior design, right? How did you get into that and why?
It was more of a whim than it probably should have been, but I was pretty set on the school I wanted to go to for college, and I wanted to go for fashion originally, and then somebody in my family was like, if you go for fashion, you're going to work retail the rest of your life. And as a young impressionable 18-year-old, I was like, what? I don't even know what. So I quickly switched to interior design, um, which I think was the plan all along. I grew up and I would like pick up my furniture and move it across the room and redraw my room. I did always have like an eye for colors, things like that. My grandma did a lot of quilting. We made a lot of clothes. Yeah, like she made like my chaps for when I rode horses, all my show shirts.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
had like
awesome.
that ability to make things. Um, Sometimes like in my later life, I would just be like, I know how to make it good enough. Like, don't expect this Halloween costume, but it looks pretty decent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really thought that I was just like, you know what? I think this is my path. Um, and I'm glad I stuck with it.
Yeah. Do you still ride today or as far as
I
horses?
don't I don't as much as I used to. Maybe once a year, or if one of my
Okay.
friends wants me to come over. But my parents still have horses at our family farm, and my aunt owns the original family farm where there's like 30 horses.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Right.
whoa.
Any
Yeah,
particular breeds or
all different ones.
all
Yep.
different ones? Okay.
Yep.
Very
I've
Yep.
never
cool.
even sat on a horse. Isn't that
Oh, it's
crazy?
Well, maybe we'll have
awesome.
to make that happen.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
At age
miss it.
51, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Christine.
Maybe I missed my horse girl era. I don't know
There's
what.
always time.
Yeah.
I was the book
No.
girl as a
No,
kid.
you'd love it. You'd love it. I shouldn't share the story, but you'd love it. I
Do
took
it
my
anyway.
I took my RAs one year. We used to do, staff development, and one of my favorite things was to take them horseback riding, and it was a simple trail thing, right? Basically, the horses follow the leader. It's
Yeah.
really simplistic. But for whatever reason, my RA had a pretty feisty horse, Andy, and he he started walking into a pond. The
Oh,
horse just started walking straight into a pond, and then he managed to get him back onto the trail, but then like leaned back in such a way that the horse decided, I'm going to lay down now.
In the
oh.
pond.
So he jumped off the horse, and when it laid down, and the horse ran all the way back to the barn.
That's a good one.
So
That's
it was really, really funny.
Oh, you never
Um,
know what they're gonna do.
oh yeah, they're such like passionate,
Yeah.
connected animals. Like they really live off of their emotions, and they can feel you, right? So that's why,
Yeah.
Christine, I think you love all things. So like, I think they would love you.
yeah.
So
I'm a dog person, but I think I've heard dogs and horses are similar in the sense that they're very
yeah,
connected to people and like
Yes.
yeah,
very
yeah,
like they want to be
yeah,
they have these really distinct
yeah.
personalities and but like
That's for
most
sure.
domestic animals, right? Like we have
Yeah.
commensal animals and we have pets and horses kind of go both ways and
Yeah,
I
if you
love
want to
them.
go into the other podcasts, they're just very sensory. Like that sounds terrifying. They just really connect well.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you guys done that sounds terrifying on like animals
We've
sixth
touched
sense?
on some things, nothing
Yeah.
horses yet, but like, yeah. I was gonna say if you really, you want to get in tune with like the dog horse mantra, just get a Great Dane.
Oh yeah, my aunt has one of those.
I love Great Danes.
The one that has
Um,
the 30 horses.
yeah, oh yeah, well, the wouldn't even notice. It just looks like a small
No,
pony.
Yeah.
exactly.
So,
Yep.
but I think we took us on a little bit of a side trip there. But like one of the questions you sort of already answered that I popped into my head was like, is anything unexpected come out of, NXT? And you kind of touched on, the advantage to having a community, for motherhood and raising children. But are there other things that like you never would have expected that came out of this that has really been a great benefit to you and your life, or even to a member's life?
Ooh, that's a good one too. Um, I unfortunately I feel like it all goes back to like kind of difficult times.
Hmm.
And if somebody has lost a loved one, or is having a difficult time in their marriage, or relationship or anything like that, sometimes those things bubble up in the moment when you're trying to work or get things done. And so it's been nice to be able to also just have the compassion to be like, okay, like we can set business aside for a minute. What do you need? Um,
Mm.
and we've had that happen, a couple different times because life is consistently happening while we're all trying to run our
Right.
businesses and be good parents and be good daughters and sisters and friends. So just to have that support and I know personally, when my husband was out of town, my husband's a first responder, and we have other women in the group whose husbands are also first responders, and to be able to reach out to them to say, I'm nervous about this. And,
Hmm.
what should I do? How should I react, handle this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get through something like that as well. So, it's nice to have other women that have walked a similar path or can at least understand and
Yeah.
be to even just
Sure.
listen.
Yeah, you said almost the John Lennon quote there, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans.
Yes.
I just love that. But you're absolutely right. Like communities like yours are, full of people that have experiences maybe similar to the ones that people are going through. And it's so great to have that, unexpected support where you
Yeah.
can kind of just launch out and start talking about like whatever it is that's on your mind. And you have this great group of people, women that are there to just back you up and help you through it. So that's awesome. That's terrific. That's what this show is all about.
That's terrific. Yeah. And I wanted to ask another thing or kind of comment, I guess. One thing I think that is for me, when I hear about what's going on at Next Level, one, I should look into this more. Two,
I heard you
maybe I
remember.
should join. And two, um, it's interesting because I have, I'm not I'm not really great at networking. I'm great at chatting,
Hmm.
and I guess in some ways that's networking. I'm fairly outgoing, but when there's situations where it's very specifically like this is a networking event, I'm like I'm kind of busy or I don't and I realize once I went to so you were at the Elevate Summit, right?
Hmm.
So
Yep.
what I realized when I was there is like, oh, and don't take this wrong way, Nick. It's not that I
Yeah.
don't like networking. I don't like networking among men, frankly.
Yeah, we're
And it's
horrible.
not because it's misandry or I hate men, but I sometimes find that when I'm networking with a highly masculine space, the attitude from many men is how can I help you instead of
Mm-hmm.
how can we help each other? And
Hmm.
have you found differences in the networking spaces when it's all women versus a mixed group?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we kind of based off of those three pillars that I was talking about before is also strategic in the sense of it's easier to connect with somebody when you're not having to go around and hand somebody a card, right? And you're going to feel more connected to somebody if you're volunteering at a race and you're paired up with somebody you don't even know her and you're just going to chat with her because maybe you're standing next to her for 20 to 30 minutes, right? So it's kind of taking the pressure off of those situations as well. Um, our our social events too, we've done like a spin class and a happy hour, right? There's people that are like, I hate spin, but I'm here because you guys are here. Like half the girls like we're so mad they're like, but I did it. And I was like, really proud of you. Now
Yeah.
let's go get some wine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to take that edge off of like the stickiness of and not fun part of networking. Um, we've tried to also rebrand ourselves as a professional development community as opposed to just networking because we want to also provide the education piece, the support, and not necessarily just to say hi, how you doing? And we started that way, but kind of in our previous discussion, I wanted to be able to see tangible growth between my business and my friends' businesses and seeing each other and just talking about something every month was great, but were you doing it? Did you have the resources or did you make the time? Did you have an accountability partner to get that actually done so that when we look back in 10 years, we're like, okay, 10 years ago, I had this baby business and now I have employees, or now I have an office space or anything like that. So we really wanted to add in those elements to make sure that we were helping women as much as we possibly could move the needle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
so wonderful. And what kind of like you mentioned one, you had the one speaker that you had, but what other kind of education opportunities and development stuff?
So it's a great place if you're even just wanting to start to speak. If you want to start presenting to larger crowds, maybe that's something that you want to do. So we have had like 90-day strategy sessions where a business coach will lead us through step by step. We sit down, we do the worksheet. She answers questions. We've done marketing. We've done um, all sorts of one of the girls created a course that's called Fortunes in the Follow-Up, and her actual follow-up process of how she follows up with her clients. She's the number one salesperson at Bassett in the country.
Wow.
And
Very cool.
she is just shy, I think, of 2 million. So obviously proof is in the pudding here.
Mhm.
So she was like, this is how I do it. Here's the template. Put
Yeah.
in your information, right? This is how many times you're going to follow up. So just tons of um, information that we try to get a good consensus of the group too, of what everybody's looking for, and then create our quarterly workshops around that.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the I'm sorry, Nick, I keep talking over
Do you
you.
got questions? That's awesome.
I've got so
I'm
many
keeping
questions.
them in the memory bank, and some of
Okay.
them get answered on the way. So I
Um,
just be quiet.
I'll ask this and then I will
Open up the forum.
let what's the variance in terms of the type of businesses that people are coming in either running or working on, or the freelance? You mentioned photographers, you've mentioned, like what are they doing? Yeah, like what are the businesses that you're seeing?
Yep. People in insurance, people in finance, people in different types of coaching spaces. So business coaches, chiropractors. Um, we have somebody that is a sleep consultant for babies, sleep and potty training. Um, we have people that run like med spas, kind of all over the board.
What are your numbers like in terms of membership right now?
We're at about 50.
That's nice. It's a
Yeah.
really good number. So
Yep.
I'm going to be Nick. I'm going to let you just keep asking your questions.
You gonna let me keep asking?
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'll let
No,
also
no,
I'll
it's
hand
okay.
the floor
I'm
to you.
enjoying this. It's like it's part of that's why I hired you, you know. No,
Where's my check?
I do have like I send that check. She gets paid like what is it, 7, 8 times more than I do. I mean, I get paid $0, so that's why it's easy to say that.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I was gonna say like one of the things going back to where Christine said like sometimes just the assumption like we are creatures of assumption and creatures of bias, right? So like we immediately when we meet someone or see something, we're already building up like what our assumptions are about that thing or person, right?
Mhm.
And so when you hear the word networking, right, Christine, like you already assume that this is how it's gonna be. But what I like about what Aubrey is explaining is that it isn't just networking. It maybe started that way, but there's so many different facets of like support that you have and programming and learning and all these different things. So I guess like my question is, how do you get past some of those assumptions that women are having about like women's groups, right? So
Mhm.
like on the one side, it is a great, safe space for women, but then also you're going to have, I assume, women that are making assumptions about what this really is, and maybe not going because they have certain fears already in there. So how do you kind of get past that and show that your experience is for all women?
We try to diversify what we're showing across our social media platforms, who we're showing. Different memberships have equate to like different marketing packages, if you
Mhm.
will. So you can do a collaborator post with us on Instagram. And I think seeing somebody that is maybe similar to you or similar in age, right? Maybe similar in field.
Hmm.
And so trying to cut some of the pressure off that way. And then another thing we do is for some of our events, we have some events that are just members, some are ticketed, and we open it up. Um, and we do have like, if you buy a ticket, just come check us out.
Hmm.
If you decide you want to join, we'll use that ticket price towards your membership. And
Oh, that's cool.
if you
Very
decide
cool.
that we weren't a great fit, that's fine too. So something that was also very important to us early on is being as inclusive as we possibly can. Especially when you're just starting out and you have no money and you're bootstrapping whatever you
Hmm.
decide to do. Um, our membership was low. And some of my team has told me that we need to increase our prices. And I was like, I don't want to miss the people that are starting that feel like they don't have a
Yeah,
place to play.
Hmm.
I love that.
So we have always kept a place for those people to play, and we will always do that.
Hmm.
Obviously, unfortunately, we need to account for our time here. Otherwise, this would all be free, and it would be fabulous if we have somebody funding this all for us. But so this way somebody can grow on their journey with us, take the pressure off, see if we're a good fit. Our culture is something that I'm also very protective over, and I would say our community is as well. The culture of our women is very kind, respectful. We don't, from the networking standpoint, we don't really allow like sales pitches,
Hmm.
right? Like
Sure.
you come in and we're all going to learn something and you tell us about your business and maybe the person that's presenting is going to offer you some offers, promotions, things like that. But we don't have like hard sells, anything like that. If you have somebody that you connected with and you want to work with them, if you don't have time to meet to talk, then set up a coffee, do that. So just
Hmm.
we don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable because we have had people that come in and try to do that
Yeah.
and to be honest, they see themselves out
Yeah.
because it's not
Yeah.
well received and it's not something that we really prefer to have in our group.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. It also just speaks to your culture too, right? Like you
Mhm.
already have like, these sort of almost um unsaid terms where people will just take care of it themselves and that weird silence or whatever after like, and if you jack now with just 16 payments of 1995,
Yeah,
like
Right.
all of
yeah.
a sudden like people are looking at that woman and they're like,
You too can own a
nope, you're
powerhouse
out.
Right,
timeshare.
right,
You're not in the
exactly.
right space. There's a
Yeah.
different space for that. But no, I think that's great that you sort of almost, I don't want to say self-police, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Do you
Um,
have a brick and mortar spot that you guys meet, or does it fluctuate?
We like to bounce around.
Okay.
So the best part is we have a lot of businesses that support us and our goals and our mission. So we we will do different restaurants for different events. Like I said yesterday, we were at Slate on South,
mhm.
um, and a lot of our members and supporters both have locations. So we like to go around the city and share the wealth and which has been really fun actually. So we have I know we were briefly talking about our gala last time we met.
Yeah.
We had a a category that was a community sponsor. So anybody that brought us into their space, let us use their space, anything like that was in the community sponsor category. So that was really nice because we do get a lot of support and kindness from the community, especially the restaurant owners. Um, and that's really nice because
Yeah.
sometimes you need a space to go and something that's easy and that's fun to be in.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have other questions, Christine? I'll yield the floor back to you for a
Oh, that's
moment.
big. I'm not, nothing that really, really comes to mind. And I just really feel this is such an exciting, I had definitely known about next level, but this is really fun. Hopefully this will help you guys grow a little more, get the name out there, because I can only imagine there are businesses and such where maybe they're not women run, or they're not really going to join necessarily, but could still collaborate in some way by
Oh,
hearing what you do. So that's really awesome.
definitely. We love that. So last year we held our retreat. Um, so we do a fall retreat and then the spring gala. And the fall retreat was in out at Westminster, out in Mendon.
Oh, cool.
And that was a really cool spot. So, the owner over there was so sweet and helpful, woman owned, and just to be able to branch out and sometimes even bring our members places they've never been
Yeah.
has been really cool. Or like a place you've always wanted to try, but you never actually got there. So that's been really a really fun part of the journey too.
Cool.
So cool.
Awesome.
So cool.
Well, we're getting kind of close to time. And do you have any other questions, Christine, that are burning in your heart?
Not right now. I think we
Okay.
really, we have our end of podcast questions.
Yes, and that's what I was going to bring up. So we didn't really coordinate this time, but it's a new sort of segment.
Okay.
I believe we're calling it the terrific five and the 585. So there's five questions we're going to ask you. They're all pretty short, but they're all 585 kind of Rochester specific.
Okay.
So I'll maybe start off with the first one, which you kind of touched on some of these things, but what is like, according to you, like one of the most terrific places in the 585 to grab a bite to eat?
I feel like this is so hard.
Oh my gosh, I know there's so many places.
Um,
Maybe you should give your top five places to eat.
well, I'm not really a foodie. Um, but I do really like I like Marge's for the rumritas.
Oh, awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
Cool.
That's one of my favorite places because it's just so different. Um, I did oh, I don't even I gotta think of the name of this. I just went to a brand new place the other day that I didn't know was there. It's in this like right downtown. It's called Soul something.
Okay.
Oh,
S-O-L.
Elevate Soul or Soul
Yes.
Elevate. I've been
Yes.
I've been seeing things come through on social media, and I'm very interested in what that place is like. Did you
Yeah,
like
we'll have
it?
to
Yeah,
check
and
that
you kind
out.
of like go down the steps from the sidewalk, and they had like salsa dancing lessons, and the hospitality was amazing. So I love like when you find these little gems of places like
Mhm.
either have been there a while you didn't know, or some of the newer places that pop up. I love the restaurant scene.
Awesome. Well,
Good
this
one.
is like why we're doing these five in the last five questions,
Yeah.
right? So we can kind of see some of these spaces. So do you have that pulled up, Christine, or do you need me to move on? All
I
right.
don't have it pulled up.
It's
I'm sorry.
fine. It's fine. Okay,
I'm
so
just
next
here with my
question.
personality. Nick, next question.
Yeah, next question. So who is someone in the 585 that like inspires you or maybe inspired you?
Mm, that's a good one. Um, so we have oh, that's so hard, Nick.
I'm sorry. I know some of these are hard.
They are. Um, I don't know the name of this person. How's that?
Yeah.
I went to an event like a long time ago, and there was this woman, and she was running, she was very, very high up at Enterprise.
Hmm.
And this was, even, I mean, maybe probably 8 years ago. And I was just astounded by what she was able to achieve. And her story was amazing. And I feel horrible. I don't remember her name, but I loved listening to her speak. And I think hearing other women's stories like that is just so inspirational for all of us to be like, you can get where you want to go. Everybody's empire is different, and there's room for all of us at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Um, how about let's try to make it easier.
No, I'm like,
Um,
these are all too hard for me.
oh my gosh, no. I guess like do you have a favorite annual event or festival that you would recommend?
Ooh. Um, we also have so many
I
festivals.
know, I know.
Ay,
Such
ay, ay.
variety.
I know. I will say the Hilton Apple Fest
Okay,
is
cool.
Classic.
is
Yeah.
a classic, and I'm a Hilton girl, so I grew up going to that every year, and they always had a car show, and I can remember going to that with my dad. So I guess that would have to be my pick.
Oh, that's a
Okay,
good one. That's a good one.
cool. So if there was like, if you were introducing Rochester to a friend who's never been here before, what is the one thing that they need to go to, or one place they need to go, um, that they can't miss without?
Mm. I'm gonna answer a couple things.
Okay.
So I think everybody needs to eat a garbage plate.
Yes.
I think that is very important.
I'm so serious. It's
Yeah.
very
It's like it might be number one on the list. I love
Mm.
them.
Yes.
So you have to try a garbage plate. I would say another thing that it's very interesting. We get when you're spoiled about something, you don't realize that other
Mhm.
cities don't have it. The Museum of Play,
Yes.
Yeah.
top notch, top notch.
Okay.
And I wanted to round that out with a third, but I guess I'm just living on
Yeah. Well, garbage
and
plate.
the Rock Holiday Village.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Oh, it's so
for
fun.
sure.
It's like a little
Those three.
Hallmark movie over there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll just circle in one more thing about the garbage plate. So I go to Sager Stoneyard Brewery quite
Oh, yeah.
often. All
Uh-huh.
right. And they have the Doughboys that make their pizzas there. And they have a garbage plate pizza
Oh,
that
Yeah.
is to die for. And they also had
hungry.
a garbage plate, just the regular plate, which is also to die for. And they did one other thing with nachos. And I'm like, all the garbage plate like type things, and like,
yeah.
but
Delicious.
delicious. So I guess last question. What makes, the 585 in Rochester really like feel like home to you?
I think we're a small town, actually. We're a
Yeah.
big, I think geographically, when you include all the suburbs, we're a big location, but it's a very small town feel.
Mhm.
Coming from a very small town to begin with, I come from a large family in a small town. I'm used to that. I was like that can-do spirit and help your neighbor kind of mentality. And I think that we have a lot of talent. We have a lot of creativity. The arts, music, everything in our city is just we have a lot going on
Mhm.
and a lot of people doing some really cool things.
Yeah, and you're definitely one of them. You're absolutely
Yeah, for
terrific. Thank you
sure.
so much for
Yeah.
being on the show, Aubrey.
This
So,
is wonderful. Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having me.
yeah.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of That Sounds Terrific in the 585. Check out our website, www.thatsoundsterrific.com, to see a full list of episodes and learn more about our hosts, Nick Koziel and Christine Green. Be sure to find us on your favorite social media platforms or podcast listening service by searching That Sounds Terrific, and feel free to give us a 5-star rating if you enjoy our show. Until next time.